I'd always thought my life with Emily was a quiet masterpiece, painted in the soft hues of routine and trust. We'd been married for 12 years, living in a modest house on the edge of Portland, where the rain seemed to wash away anything too dramatic. I'm Jacob, a 38-year-old architect who spends most days sketching buildings that'll never get built. Emily, my wife, was a freelance illustrator, her hands always smudged with charcoal or ink, her laughter a melody I'd memorized. Our daughter, Lily, was 9, a bright spark who loved her mother's stories and my bad jokes. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours, or so I believed. It started with the little things. Emily began spending more time on her phone, her fingers dancing across the screen late into the night. She'd laugh at something, then tuck the device away when I asked what was so funny. "Just a client," she'd say, her hazel eyes flickering away from mine. I didn't push. Trust was the foundation we'd built, and I wasn't about to chip at it over a few secretive smiles. But then came the trips, sudden work meetings in Seattle or Eugene, places she'd never needed to visit before. She'd pack light, kiss me goodbye, and promise to call. She always did, but the calls grew shorter, her voice distant, like she was speaking through a fog. One evening, Lily asked why Mommy was gone so much. I didn't have an answer, just a hollow ache in my chest. I started noticing other signs. A new perfume I hadn't bought her, a pair of earrings, silver hoops with tiny emeralds, that didn't match anything in our shared history. When I asked, she said they were gifts from a friend. "Which friend?" I pressed, keeping my tone light. "Oh, you don't know her," she replied, brushing past me to the kitchen. That was the first crack in the masterpiece. A hairline fracture I couldn't ignore. I decided to dig. Not out of malice, but curiosity, maybe desperation. Her laptop was password protected, but she'd once used Lily's birthday for everything. I waited until she was out, then typed it in. The screen blinked open, and there it was. Emails, dozens of them, from someone named Talia, not a client, not a friend I'd ever met. The messages were casual at first. Talk of art, books, a shared love of old jazz records. But as I scrolled, the tone shifted. "I can't stop thinking about last weekend," one read. "You make me feel alive," said another. My stomach twisted. Talia wasn't just a pen pal. She was something more. I sat there, staring at the glowing screen, the house silent except for the hum of the fridge. Emily had betrayed me, not with another man, but with a woman. It wasn't the act itself that stung. It was the secrecy, the intimacy she'd built with someone else while I slept beside her, oblivious. I closed the laptop, my hands trembling. I didn't confront her that night. I needed proof, something concrete, before I let the fracture widen into a chasm. The next few weeks were a slow descent into a world I didn't recognize. I became a detective in my own home, piecing together a puzzle I didn't want to solve. Emily's trips grew more frequent, her excuses flimsier. "Talia's helping me with a project," she'd say, her voice smooth as glass. I nodded, smiled, played the part of the trusting husband while my mind churned. Who was Talia? Where did they meet? How long had this been simmering under my nose? I needed answers, but I couldn't ask. Not yet. I started tracking her habits. She'd leave her phone face down on the counter, a new habit that screamed caution. One night, while she showered, I swiped it and checked her messages. The passcode was still Lily's birthday, thank God for small mercies. There they were, texts to Talia dripping with affection. "Miss you already," Emily wrote after her last trip. "Can't wait to see you again," Talia replied, followed by a heart emoji. My throat tightened. I scrolled further, finding photos, selfies of them together, laughing in a cafe, arms slung around each other. Talia was striking. Short black hair, sharp cheekbones, a tattoo curling up her neck. She looked like someone who lived loud, the opposite of our quiet life. I put the phone back before Emily emerged, steam trailing her like a ghost. She didn't notice my silence, or if she did, she didn't care. That night, I lay awake, her breathing soft beside me, and wondered how I'd missed this. Was I too dull, too predictable? Had I stopped seeing her? The questions gnawed at me, but they didn't matter. What mattered was the truth, and I was determined to find it. I started following her. It felt wrong, tailing my own wife, but the fracture was spreading, and I couldn't stop it. One Saturday, she said she was meeting a client downtown. I kissed her goodbye, waited 10 minutes, then drove after her. She didn't go to the usual coffee shops or studios. Instead, she parked outside a sleek apartment building in the Pearl District, a place we could never afford. I watched from across the street as she buzzed in, disappearing through the glass doors. My heart pounded. I waited, and 20 minutes later, Talia appeared, live and in color, greeting Emily with a hug that lingered too long. They didn't see me. I sat there, engine off, watching them vanish inside. My mind raced with images I didn't want to imagine. Hands touching, lips meeting, a closeness I'd thought was mine alone. I drove home in a daze, Lily's crayons scattered on the kitchen table, a stark reminder of the life I was losing. That night, Emily came back smelling of that unfamiliar perfume, her smile too bright. "Good meeting?" I asked. "Great," she said, avoiding my eyes. I nodded, the plan forming in my head. This wasn't over. Knowledge is a blade, and I was sharpening it. Emily's betrayal wasn't just a fling. It was a parallel life, one she'd built with Talia while I raised our daughter and paid the bills. I couldn't confront her yet. I needed more than texts and hugs. I needed to see it, to know the depth of the wound before I decided how to carve it back. So I waited, watched, and gathered. I installed an app on my phone to track hers. Simple tech, nothing fancy. Synced to her location through a shared family plan she'd forgotten about. The next time she left, claiming a late-night brainstorming session, I followed the dot. It led me to Talia's apartment again. I parked a block away, binoculars in hand, feeling like a stranger in my own story. Through the third-floor window, I saw them, silhouettes moving together, laughing, clinking glasses. Then the lights dimmed, and the curtains closed. I didn't need to see more. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles whitened. Back home, I dug deeper. Talia's social media was public, a goldmine of arrogance. She posted photos of her art, bold, chaotic paintings, and her life. Bars, galleries, Emily. One caption read, "With my muse," alongside a shot of my wife sketching in Talia's loft. The date was 6 months ago. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of me cooking dinner while Emily built something else entirely. I saved everything, screenshots, dates, locations. Evidence wasn't enough, though. I wanted to understand. I started talking to people. Discreetly, of course. Our neighbor, Mrs. Carter, mentioned seeing Emily with a woman with tattoos at the farmer's market months back. A coworker of Emily's, over coffee, let slip that she'd stopped taking local gigs, focusing instead on out-of-town collaborations. The pieces fit too well. Talia wasn't a fling. She was a fixture, and I was the fool. Lily kept me grounded. She'd ask about mommy's trips, and I'd lie bright, cheerful lies about work and adventure. But inside, I was unraveling. One night, Emily came home late, her hair mussed, her cheeks flushed. "Long day," she said, dropping her bag. I nodded, pouring her wine, watching her sip it like nothing was wrong. That's when the idea hit me, revenge. Not loud, not messy, but sharp and deep, something she'd feel for years. I didn't know what yet, but the seed was planted. The seed grew roots in the dark. I stopped sleeping, my mind a carousel of plans and pain. Emily floated through our days, oblivious, her lies a second skin. She'd kiss Lily goodnight, hum while cooking, act like the wife I'd married. But I saw the cracks now, her glances at her phone, the way she'd pause before answering simple questions. I wasn't just betrayed. I was erased, a prop in her play with Talia. That realization hardened me. I didn't want tears or apologies. I wanted her to suffer. I kept collecting. Her laptop yielded more. Hotel receipts buried in her email trash. Reservations under Talia's name. They'd gone to the coast, to Cannon Beach, a place Emily and I had once called ours. I found a photo on Talia's Instagram, two shadows holding hands against the sunset, tagged with a heart. My hands shook as I printed it, adding it to my file. I tracked her movements. Weekends away, late nights, a pattern of absence. She'd built a life I wasn't part of, and I was going to dismantle it. I tested her, subtle at first. "Let's take a family trip," I suggested one morning, watching her over coffee. Her smile faltered. "Oh, I've got deadlines," she said, too quick. "Maybe next month." I nodded, sipping my drink, letting her think I believed her. Later, I called her bluff. Texted her during a supposed client dinner, asking for a photo of the restaurant. She sent one, but the timestamp didn't match. It was an old picture, recycled. She thought I was blind. I wasn't. I met Talia by accident or fate. Emily was out, and I took Lily to an art fair downtown. There she was, manning a booth, her paintings loud and jagged. Up close, she was magnetic, confident, all sharp edges and ink. Lily tugged my hand, pointing at a sketch. "That's Mommy's style," she said. I froze. It was Emily's work, and signed, tucked among Talia's. "Your mom's friend made this?" I asked casual. Talia smirked. "Something like that," she said, her eyes lingering on me. She knew who I was. The audacity burned. That night I planned. Revenge couldn't be petty, it had to be precise, a cut that bled slow. I thought of Lily, of our home, of the life Emily had torched. I'd use Talia against her, turn their bond into a weapon. I didn't know how yet, but the shape was forming, dark and deliberate. A shadow I'd cast over them both. The shape solidified over weeks of quiet rage. I watched Emily unravel her lies, each thread a gift to my design. She'd come home late, her excuses thinning, her perfume a taunt. I stopped asking questions, let her think I'd settled into ignorance. But I was awake, plotting, my anger a forge. Talia was the key. She was bold, reckless, the kind who'd overplay her hand. I'd used that. I started with her world. Talia's art career was her pride. Her identity splashed across galleries and online. I researched her, shows, buyers, sponsors. She'd clawed her way up, a self-made star with a flair for drama. Emily was her muse, her collaborator, her secret. I wondered if Talia loved her or just the idea of her. Either way, it didn't matter. I'd ruin them both. I dug into her past, found whispers of a scandal. A stolen piece, a jilted partner, buried but not gone. It was leverage, a crack I could widen. I tested the waters. Signed up for an art forum under a fake name, posted about Talia's work, dropped hints about inspiration that wasn't hers. The community buzzed. Some defended her, others sniffed for dirt. I fed the fire, subtle, anonymous, planting seeds of doubt. Then I went further. Contacted a gallery owner she'd worked with, posed as a collector, asked about that old scandal. He clammed up, but his tone said enough. Talia had enemies. Good. Emily noticed nothing. She was too deep in her bubble, texting Talia, planning their next escape. I let her go one weekend, tracked her to a cabin in the woods. Another pin on my map. I stayed home with Lily, built a fort out of blankets, listened to her giggle. That innocence fueled me. Emily didn't deserve her, didn't deserve us. I take it all away piece by piece. By Monday, I had a plan. It was cruel, intricate, a tapestry of consequence. Step 1. Expose Talia, not to Emily, but to her world. Step 2. Let Emily watch it collapse, helpless. Step 3. Strip her of everything else. Our home, our daughter, her lies. I smiled for the first time in weeks, the blade nearly sharp enough. The plan was a living thing now, pulsing in my veins. I'd spent weeks honing it, each move deliberate, each edge razor thin. Emily floated through our home, her lies a perfume I could smell from across the room. She'd kiss Lily goodnight, murmur about her day, and I'd nod, my face a mask. She didn't see the storm brewing. She was too wrapped in Talia's orbit. That was her mistake, and I'd make it her undoing. I started with Talia's world. Her art was her crown, but every crown has cracks. I'd found that old scandal, 3 years back, a gallery accused her of lifting a design, hushed up with cash and charm. The story was buried, but not deep. I posed as a journalist, emailed the gallery owner under a fake name, asked for background on Talia's rise. He bit, spilling just enough. Resentment, a lost contract, a grudge. I thanked him, saved the thread, and moved on. Online, I fanned the flames. Anonymous posts on art blogs, whispers of borrowed work, questions about her muse. The buzz grew, a low hum she couldn't ignore. Talia responded. She posted a defiant rant on her social media. All fire and swagger. Haters can't touch me. I smiled, watching the comments split. Some cheered, others dug. Emily mentioned it over dinner, casual, like it was gossip. Talia's getting flack online, she said, fork hovering. Jealousy, probably. I shrugged, sipped my beer. Sounds rough, I said, my voice flat. She didn't catch the irony. She never did. I tracked their next meetup, another work trip to Seattle. Emily packed light, kissed me goodbye, promised Lily a souvenir. I waved, then checked her location. A boutique hotel, not a client's office. I didn't follow this time. I had enough. Instead, I called a friend, Mark, a private investigator I'd known since college. No names, I told him. Just dig into this woman. I gave him Talia's details, paid in cash. He didn't ask why, just nodded. 2 days later, he delivered bank records, a lease, a pattern of lavish spending. Talia wasn't just an artist. She was a grifter, living beyond her means, leaning on friends like Emily. My wife was funding her, I realized, while rising. Our savings, our future, poured into Talia's hands. That night, I sat in the dark, Lily asleep upstairs, and let the rage settle. Emily wasn't just sharing her heart. She was sharing our life. The revenge sharpened. I'd ruined Talia's name, then let Emily drown in the wreckage. I started drafting letters, emails, a slow drip of truth to galleries, buyers, anyone who'd listen. The blade was ready, but I wasn't done forging. Mark's report was a map to Talia's ruin. She'd borrowed from half a dozen people. Small loans, unpaid favors, a trail of broken trust. Her art sold well, but not enough to match her lifestyle. Designer clothes, a loft in the Pearl, trips with Emily. I cross-checked our accounts, found the withdrawals. Hundreds here, thousands there, labeled supplies or travel. Emily had siphoned our money, thinking I wouldn't notice. I did now, and it was a match to the fire. I escalated. Sent an anonymous tip to a local art magazine, attached a scanned receipt from Talia's hotel stay, Emily's card, her name. Ask who's really funding the muse, I wrote. They ran a piece, subtle but pointed. Talia's star rises, but at what cost? Her fans defended her. Her doubters pounced. I watched her scramble online, posting photos of new work, deflecting. Emily came home tense, muttering about drama. Talia's stressed, she said, rubbing her temples. People are so petty. I nodded, poured her tea, said nothing. She didn't suspect me. She wouldn't. I met Mark again, handed him more cash. Find her weak spot, I said. He dug deeper, unearthed a lawsuit, dismissed but messy. Talia had stiffed a collaborator, claimed the work as hers. The guy was bitter, still in town. I tracked him down, bought him a beer, listened. She's a thief, he spat, eyes hard. Took my ideas, my time, left me with nothing. I didn't reveal myself, just nodded, slipped him a number. If you ever want to talk, call. He would, I knew. The net was tightening. Emily started slipping. She'd snap at Lily, pace the house, check her phone too often. Talia's world was fraying, and it tugged at her. One night, she left her laptop open, careless, finally. I found their chats. Talia venting about lies, Emily soothing her, promising help. I'll figure it out, my wife wrote. We'll get through this. I printed it, added it to my stack. The plan grew teeth. I'd expose Talia fully, then let Emily face the fallout, alone. I waited for the right moment, patient as stone. The magazine piece had stirred the pot. Now I'd tip it over. I had names, dates, proof. Talia's house of cards was trembling, and Emily didn't see the quake coming. I smiled, polishing the blade. The quake hit slow, deliberate. I sent the first package and signed untraceable to a gallery owner Talia relied on. Inside, copies of Mark's findings, receipts, the lawsuit details, a timeline of her debts. Thought you should know who you're showcasing, I wrote. No threats, just facts. 2 days later, the gallery canceled her upcoming show, citing scheduling conflicts. Talia raged online, blamed cowards. Emily came home pale, distracted. Talia's losing it, she said, stirring soup she didn't eat. Someone's out to get her. I shrugged. Sounds personal, I said, my voice a thread of silk. She didn't look up. I kept the pressure on. Contacted that bitter collaborator again, fed him more photos of Talia's latest work, sketches I'd found on Emily's laptop, too close to his style. She's still at it, I said. He took the bait, posted online, tagged her, called her out. The art scene erupted. Accusations, threads, a storm of doubt. Talia's sponsors wavered. One pulled funding, citing reputational risk. Her posts grew frantic, her confidence cracking. Emily spent hours on the phone, whispering, pacing. I listened from the hall, catching fragments. We'll fix this. I'll come up. Don't worry. She was sinking with her. I drained our accounts next. Not all, just enough. Moved half our savings to a new one. Locked her out. She'd notice eventually, but not yet. I canceled her credit card. Claimed a security breach. When she complained, I played dumb. Bank's fault, babe. They're sending a new one. She bought it, too frazzled to dig. I wanted her helpless when the truth hit, stripped of the resources she'd funneled to Talia. Lily asked why mommy was sad. Work's tough, I said, braiding her hair. It wasn't a lie. Talia's world kept crumbling. Another gallery dropped her. A buyer sued over a misrepresented piece. I watched it unfold online, a spectator to my own design. Emily left for Seattle again. To help, I didn't stop her. Mark tailed her, sent photos. Her and Talia arguing outside a bar. Emily's face streaked with tears. I saved them, fuel for the final cut. The blade was sharp now, poised. I just needed her home. She returned hollow-eyed, quieter than ever. Rough trip, I asked casual. Yeah, she mumbled, collapsing on the couch. I waited, let her stew. The revenge was close, personal, precise, a wound she'd carry forever. I slept that night, dreamless, ready. Emily was a ghost in our house, drifting between rooms, her phone a lifeline she clutched too tight. Talia's collapse was accelerating. Galleries blacklisting her, collectors demanding refunds, her name mud online. I'd lit the fuse, and it burned bright. Emily didn't know I held the match. She'd mutter about unfairness. Her voice brittle, and I'd nod, pour her coffee, play the part. Inside, I was steel, counting down. I struck deeper, sent a package to Talia's landlord, proof of her missed rent, months of it, tied to Emily's payments. Your tenant's a risk, I wrote. Eviction notice followed a week later. Talia posted about betrayal, her bravado thin. Emily panicked, begged me for money. A friend needs help, she said, eyes darting. Who? I asked, calm. She hesitated. Just someone. I refused, cited tight finances. She didn't push, couldn't, not without tipping her hand. I cut her lifeline and she felt it. Mark delivered more. Audio from a cafe. Talia ranting about fixing her mess. Emily promising support. I'll leave him if I have to, my wife said, her voice a knife in my gut. I listened 10 times, each word a brick in the wall I'd built. She'd planned to abandon us, to trade Lily and me for Talia's chaos. That sealed it. No mercy left. I leaked the audio, distorted, anonymous, to an art podcast. They ran it, speculated wildly. Talia's fans turned. Emily's name surfaced. Whispers of the muse becoming the enabler. She came home sobbing, locked herself in the bathroom. I knocked, asked if she was okay. Leave me alone, she snapped. I did, smiling. The net was closing, and she was trapped. Lily asked why Mommy cried so much. She's sad about a friend, I said, hugging her. The truth was uglier, but not for her, not yet. I finalized the endgame. Talia's ruin was phase 1. Emily's would be slower, sharper, a personal hell. I booked a lawyer, drafted papers, waited. The blade gleamed, ready to fall. The endgame began with silence. Emily barely spoke, her eyes red, her hands trembling. Talia's eviction hit the news. Local blogs ate it up, painting her as a fallen star. Emily tried to hide it, but I saw the cracks. Late nights staring at her phone, unanswered calls, a woman unraveling. I kept my routine, work, Lily, dinners, letting her think I was oblivious. She didn't know I'd already won. I served the papers on a Tuesday. Divorce, custody, the house, mine, all of it. She stared at the envelope, confused, then furious. What is this, Jacob? She demanded, voice shaking. You know what it is, I said, calm, meeting her eyes. Talia, the money, the lies. Her face drained of color. You how? She stammered. I didn't answer, just watched her crumple. She'd thought me blind. Now she saw the mirror I'd held up. She tried to fight. I'll explain, she pleaded, grabbing my arm. It's not what you think. I shook her off. I've got photos, emails, recordings. Don't. She froze, realization dawning. I dismantled her secret life, brick by brick, and she had nothing left. Lily was at a friend's, planned, deliberate, so Emily's sobs echoed alone. I didn't mean to hurt you, she whispered. Too late. I'd heard her plan to leave. Forgiveness wasn't an option. Talia called, desperate, begging Emily to meet. I intercepted, answered instead. She's done with you, I said, my voice ice. You're finished. She cursed me, hung up. I blocked her number, cut the last thread. Emily watched, helpless, as I packed her bags. Clothes, sketchbooks, that perfume. You can't take Lily, she said, wild-eyed. Watch me, I replied. The lawyer had assured me. Her instability, the drained accounts, my evidence. It was airtight. She left that night, a shadow of the woman I'd loved. I locked the door, sat in the quiet, and felt the weight lift. Talia was broken, Emily was gone, and I had Lily. The revenge was complete, cruel, cold, mine. But the story wasn't over. Not yet. Emily's absence left a void, but not the kind I'd feared. The house was quieter, cleaner. Lily's laughter the only echo. I'd won. Stripped her of her lover, her home, her daughter. But victory tasted sharp, like biting into metal. She'd moved into a cheap motel. I heard, her calls to Lily supervised, her voice thin through the phone. I didn't gloat, didn't need to. The blade had cut deep, and she was bleeding out her life with Talia. My focus shifted, keeping Lily whole, rebuilding what Emily had torched. Talia's fall kept making waves. Blogs picked apart her ruin, eviction, lawsuits, a career in ashes. I watched from the sidelines, my hands clean. She'd posted a final rant, blaming enemies, then vanished offline. Mark tracked her. A bus ticket to San Francisco, a fresh start with nothing. I didn't care where she went as long as she stayed gone. Emily, though, clung to her ghost. She'd text me late, pleading for one conversation. I ignored her. She'd made her bed. I just pulled the sheets off. Lily asked questions. Why doesn't Mommy live here? She'd say, her crayons pausing. She needed space. I told her, keeping it light. But we're okay, you and me. She nodded, trusting, and I vowed she'd never know the full ugliness. Emily's betrayal was mine to carry, not hers. I hired a nanny, adjusted my hours, built a routine. Life moved forward, but the revenge wasn't done. It needed a final twist, something to salt the wound. I found it in Emily's art. She'd left behind a portfolio, sketches and paintings, her soul on paper. Some were Talia's collaborations, love letters in ink. I could have burned them, but that was too easy. Instead, I contacted a gallery, not local, one in Seattle, far enough to sting. posed as a curator, pitched an anonymous find. They mounted a show, Lost Works of a Muse. Emily's name wasn't on it, but Talia's style was raw, recognizable. I sent an invite to Talia's old contacts. Let the rumor mill churn. The show sold out, critics raved, and neither of them saw a dime. Emily called, furious. "You stole my work," she screamed. "Prove it." I said, "Cool. It's not signed." She couldn't. Her pride had kept her invisible, Talia's shadow. The money went to a trust for Lily, locked until she's 18. Emily's legacy, funding the daughter she'd lost. That was the twist. Her passion turned against her, a quiet, cruel echo of her betrayal. The gallery show was a whisper that grew loud. Art circles buzzed. Whose work was it? Talia's name floated, but no one could pin it. Emily's silence was her cage. She'd hidden too long to claim it now. I read the reviews, sipped coffee, felt the blade twist deeper. She'd see it eventually, hear her own strokes praised, and know she'd been erased. I didn't need to see her face. I could imagine the hollow ache, the mirror of my own pain reflected back. She tried reaching out. Letters came, handwritten, begging to see Lily unsupervised. "I'm getting better," she wrote, her script shaky. "I miss her." I read them, filed them, didn't reply. The lawyer said I didn't have to. She'd signed the papers, too broken to fight. Custody was mine, her visits strict. She'd lost the right to bargain when she'd poured our life into Talia's hands. Lily asked less about her world shrinking to school, friends, me. I kept her steady, but the past lingered, a shadow I couldn't shake. Talia surfaced in San Francisco, a blip on a blog. Working a bar, painting on the side, a shell of her old fire. I didn't care, her ruin was done. But Emily clung to her, I learned. A mutual friend let slip she'd visited, chasing ghosts. "She's a mess," he said, pity in his voice. "Keep saying she'll win you back." I laughed, short and cold. She'd never understood me, not really. The revenge wasn't about her coming back. It was about her staying gone. I fortified our life. New locks, new accounts, a fresh start. Friends rallied, dinners, playdates for Lily, a net I hadn't known I'd needed. They didn't ask about Emily. They'd seen enough. One night, Mark called, offered a final tidbit. Emily's motel stint was ending, her funds dry. "She's talking about moving," he said. "Maybe south." I thanked him, hung up, felt nothing. She could run, but the wound would follow. The final cut loomed. I had one card left, a cruel flourish to seal it. Emily's betrayal wasn't just personal. It was public now, in whispers and art. I'd make it louder, undeniable, a scar she'd wear forever. The how was forming, dark and deliberate, a parting gift. The how took shape in a quiet moment. Lily was at school, the house still, my mind restless. Emily's letters piled up, 6 now, each more desperate. "I'll fix this," she wrote in the latest. "I love you both." Love. The word was ash, meaningless after Talia. I didn't want her love. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd lost. The gallery show had been a start, but it was too distant, too abstract. I needed something closer, something she'd see every day. I found it in our community. Portland's art scene was small, tight-knit, and Emily had been part of it. Quietly, always in Talia's glow. I changed that. I donated her old supplies, brushes, paints, a sketchbook, to a local youth center, attached a note, "From Emily, with regrets." They held a ceremony, thanked her publicly, a plaque with her name. She'd hear about it, see her past turned into a charity case, her pride stripped bare. Friends texted me photos, kids painting her name on the wall. I smiled, imagining her reaction. Anger, shame, a mirror she couldn't break. She called that night, voice raw. "You had no right," she said, choking on tears. "It's yours," I replied. "You left it." She hung up, defeated. The center thrived. Lily even joined a class, her mother's legacy repurposed out of reach. Emily's world shrank further. I heard she'd lost her freelance gigs, her reputation tainted by Talia's collapse. She was a footnote now, a cautionary tale. I didn't stop there. I leaked a story, anonymous, vague, to a local paper. Artist's muse leaves family for chaos. It read, no names but enough hints. Gossip spread. Neighbors whispered. Emily's motel was near, close enough for stares. She'd feel it, the judgment, the isolation. I didn't need to see her squirm. Knowing was enough. Lily stayed oblivious, her life bright, mine steady. The revenge was a slow burn, consuming her piece by piece. One last move waited. Something personal, final, a wound only she'd understand. I turned it over, let it ripen, the blade's edge gleaming in the dark. The final move crystallized on a rainy afternoon. Lily was drawing, humming, her world untouched. I sat with Emily's last letter, its ink smudged from her tears. I'm sorry, she'd written, over and over, a mantra of regret. Sorry didn't rebuild trust, didn't erase Talia's shadow. I'd taken her home, her daughter, her art. Now I take her memory, twisted into something she couldn't reclaim. It was cruel, yes, but she'd carved that path. I found the perfect piece. A locket she'd worn daily, silver, engraved with Lily's initials. She'd left it behind, a relic of our old life. Inside, a photo of us three smiling whole. I kept it, unsure why, until now. I took it to a jeweler, had it melted down, reshaped into a pendant for Lily. A star, her name etched deep. No trace of Emily remained. I gave it to Lily at dinner, watched her beam. It's from me, I said. For my best girl. She hugged me, wore it proudly. Emily's symbol gone, hers no more. I sent her a photo. Lily in the pendant, grinning, the star catching light. No note, just the image. She'd know. She called an hour later, sobbing, incoherent. You can't. That was mine, she managed. I said, and hung up. She didn't call again. The locket's loss would haunt her. Her last tie to us, melted away, worn by the daughter she'd forsaken. It was petty, personal, perfect. Her life kept unraveling. The motel kicked her out, I heard, back rent, no funds. She moved south, maybe Salem, a rumor from a friend. I didn't track her. She was a ghost now, irrelevant. The youth center plaque stayed up. The article lingered online, her name a faint echo. Lily thrived, school plays, art classes, a life Emily couldn't touch. I worked, dated a little, healed. The revenge was done, its pieces scattered, a mosaic of her ruin. One task remained, closure, not for her, but me. I carried the weight too long. The final part wasn't about her. It was about letting go, sharpening the blade one last time before setting it down. Closure came on a crisp March morning, the air sharp with spring. Lily was at school, the house mine. I gathered Emily's remnants. Letters, a scarf, a sketch of Lily she'd left, and built a fire in the backyard pit. No ceremony, just flames. The paper curled, the fabric smoked, her words turned to ash. I didn't watch long. I didn't need to. She was gone, not just from our home, but from me. The weight lifted, lighter than I'd expected. I'd won, but not without cost. Friends asked if I regretted it. The divorce, the revenge, the slow dismantling of her life. No, I'd say, and mean it. She'd chosen Talia, chosen lies. I'd chosen survival, for me and Lily. The cruelty wasn't random. It was justice, shaped by her hands as much as mine. Talia was a memory, Emily a stranger, and I was free. Lily grew taller, her laughter louder, her pendant a star against her chest. She didn't ask about mommy anymore. I heard scraps of Emily's fate. A job at a diner, a rented room, a life pared down. She tried calling once, months back, left no message. I didn't care. The youth center sent a thank you note, the plaque still there. A quiet taunt she'd never escape. The gallery show faded, but its echo lingered in art circles. Her talent, unclaimed, a ghost story. She'd feel it all every day, and that was enough. I moved forward, dated a teacher, Sarah, soft-spoken and kind. She met Lily, fit into our rhythm, didn't push. Work picked up, new projects, buildings rising from my sketches. The past receded, a tide pulling out. I kept one photo of Emily, tucked in a drawer, not for love but reminder. Trust is fragile, revenge is final. I didn't look at it often. That night, I sat with Lily, watched her draw. A house, a sun, two figures. Us, she said, pointing. I kissed her head, felt the blade rest. The story was over, hers in ashes, ours in light. I sharpened it, wielded it, set it down. And I was done.